We have many derbies in the Isuzu UTE A-League, but perhaps the most quintessentially Australian is the F3 derby. What better place to be than passing a night at paradise with the palm trees for the F3 derby between the Central Coast Mariners and the Newcastle Jets on Darkinjung country. The 64th A-League meeting between these best of enemies. So often a football club's legend is written on nights such as this. And as the Mariners and the Jets line up in the Isuzu UTE Tunnel camp, ready to lock horns in this one. It's also a night in which the Mariners celebrate the 20 years of the A-League competition. A heritage round. There are plenty of old shirts around, and they'll be hoping, as some of the illustrious alumni of the club provide a little guard of honour as our two sides make their ways out onto the field of play, that there'll be another chapter written into this great rivalry. And there's plenty at stake between these two sides this evening as well. Heffernan, Kwasnick, some big names there from Mariners past. Thoughts with Daniel McBreen back in the studio as well. As we have a look at the starting 11s, well, Mark Jackson has made just the one change from the side that drew 2-2 away to Western United. On Wednesday, Abdel Faisal makes his first start since his move from Perth. He replaces Arthur De Lima in the starting 11. And with two in the last three, Ryan Edmondson continues up front. With no Brad Tapp or Alfie McCalmont still out injured, it's the 16-year-old Hayne Eames who makes his third start in a row in the middle of the park. One change likewise for Rob Stanton and Newcastle. Philip Kankar returns. Now, we thought that might be in the centre of defence. Just watching the warm-up, looks as though he could be at right back, which will mean Thomas Aquilina moves higher up the pitch. Bayliss will sit in alongside Cameron Timmins, who plays his 50th for the Jets this evening, while new signings Kota Mizunuma and former Mariner Charles Mombois are both on the bench. Well, there's the sign. 5 trophies in 2 years, against none since 2008. It was a big one for Newcastle, though, when they won the league against the Mariners. Mark Jackson, well, he has a perfect record against 2 clubs in the A-League since taking over. One of them is Newcastle. He's looking for a 5th consecutive win, the other 3 out of 3 against Western Sydney. Rob Stanton, well, he knows what it takes to win the championship. He won 2 NSL championships with the Wollongong Wolves as a player. He's finding the coaching gig a little tough at the moment with this young Newcastle side. Jonathan Barrero taking charge of this one. It's his 4th F3 derby. In the previous 3, 1 win apiece and 1 draw. Well, the history between these two sides is fierce. 63 previous meetings. The Jets enjoy their trip down the coast. Trent Sainsbury, well, it's been a decade between F3 derbies for the Mariners skipper. All is in readiness for the start of the derby. Philip Kankar returning at the back. There's Brian Kaltak, outstanding in the first F3 derby this season, in which he scored. He has won 6 out of 6 in this fixture since arriving at the Mariners. And it is the Jets who get us underway. The 64th F3 derby and a massive night for these two sides. It always is. But with these two, with slow starts to the season, for the Mariners, the top 6 is within sight. They will be knocking on the door if they can pick up a 7th consecutive derby win over the Jets. And for the Jets, Andy Harper, we've been saying it for a few weeks now, if ever you were to kickstart your campaign, it's in the derby, but this really is last chance saloon for Rob Stanton's side.
Yeah, they're a long way from the finish tape, as are all the clubs, of course. So they're already in must-win territory, and you'd like to think, on behalf of the Jets fans, that it's the occasion of a derby which will bring the best out of the team and get them the much-needed 3 points to keep their hopes of challenging, worrying others for the title certainly alive. The Mariners heaps to play for, nipping at the heels of the Championship Series if they get the 3 points here this evening.
And it's the Mariners onto the front foot early. Mikhail Docker getting into an ambitious shooting opportunity. All the way back with Brian Kaltak. Imperious since arriving at the Mariners in this fixture as Ben Gibson, one of the new players to the F3 Derby experience. His first start, catching the heels of Sainsbury there. Nathan Paul laid on an outstanding assist at Ironbark Fields on Wednesday night. Theoharis, little ball inside with Rue, gets it back. Theoharis taking on Wilmering. Now, who's that come off last? It was ricocheting around. I thought it might yet have been a corner.
Yeah, I thought it probably was a corner. It was a nice run forward in support from Storm Rue. But it's clearly come off Daniel Wilmering. It should have been a Mariners corner. Jets have now played on from the goal kick, but managed to lose the ball promptly.
And it's Abdel Faisal, who has had a pretty adventurous first 6 months in the A-League's competition. Add to that the start in the Australia Cup, in which he shone early after his move to Perth. A move that didn't last long, was the case for a few of the Perth players this season. Now Wilmering, early cross, Gibson, glancing header, and claimed by Parage Cullen. Just 18 years of age. The young goalkeeper, under the wing of Danny Vukovic, the goalkeeping coach and championship winner with the Gloves last season. Much has been made of the Mariners' difficult campaign so far, which is also perhaps highlighted by their struggles in the Champions League. But they are now, with an additional 3 points this evening perhaps, if they can get the win, still in contact with the top 6, and their season may yet play out differently. Foul. And a potentially dangerous free kick here.
Yeah, well, it's a clear foul. He's very lucky not to be on a yellow card. I mean, it's very late, and he's breaking away to directly attack the goal. If that's not a yellow card situation, what is?
Still fuming about the corner.
Well, maybe
decision at the other end.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Eli Adams and Costa Grozos standing over this one. Grozos, the captain, takes it, curls it, side netting, wasn't far away.
Raj Cullen looked for a moment to quicken his step, but then it got the angles covered to his comfort.
Mariners play out their turn to hand the ball over quickly, but now perhaps the break is on with Edmondson looking to pressure Wilmering. Ryan Edmondson, whose first A-League goal came against the Jets last season in a 3-1 win. It was an important one because it set him up for the finals. A bit of form where he got the double in the grand final. Ryan Edmondson, just 2 goals to his name so far this season, but they've come in the last 3 matches. Hayne Eames, the 16-year-old, finds Storm Roux. Now Theoharis. Back with Eames. Docker. Eames again. Inside Theoharis. Great ball, nice turn. Theoharis, it's deflected. Ryan Scott was wrong-footed, and that could very easily have snuck inside the top corner.
A nice movement from the Mariners, beautiful little reverse pass from Hayne Eames, and then the deflection had Ryan Scott beaten. And everyone just waited to see if the ball had enough dip.
Theoharis on the right-hand side today as Docker's ball in. It's a good punch from Scott as bodies fell in front of him. Storm Roux with Harrison Steele. He also scored in that 3-1 win over the Jets last season. Many of this current Mariners generation has an outstanding record against the Jets because the Jets have only won 1 of the last 10 F3 derbies. Lost 9 of them. Including that current run of 6 wins for the Mariners. Docker has to be careful though, that was a little bit casual. This current run of 6 consecutive derby wins is the best in the history of this rivalry. The Jets went 5 wins in a row between 2017 and 2019. And there's nothing that these neighbours enjoy more than getting one over their local rivals, especially when you can definitively put paid to their hopes of finals football. Certainly not mathematically yet. But this is the 16th game of the season for the Central Coast Mariners in the A-League, so there's only 11 left. We're approaching the 2/3 mark quite quickly.
Well, the Jets have got a couple up their sleeves still. But there is really no more margin for error for Newcastle. They've got to string 2 or 3 wins together to get the necessary belief, I think, that they can overhaul the pack in front of them.
Eames again touches it back to Docker. Not happy about something there, Mikael Docker. Eames again, I think it was Harrison Steele, in fact. Now, Wilmering back with Mark Natter. And now Grozos, who is in the centre of defence. Ooh, if Ryan Edmondson had stood tall there, that could have been a simple little header into the back of the net. Steele turns with Docker. Nathan Paul with Faisal. We've got the nod at left wing, which is why Theoharis is in that inverted right wing position. right midfield without the ball, defending. Here he comes across on Wilmering. Ooh. And a nice Derby challenge from him. Plenty of ball. Christian Theoharis. Now Storm Root for Theoharis. Natta coming across. That's from position. Back to Ryan Scott. The Jets, who are a proficient passing side, they actually have the best passing, successful passing percentage in the league. Natta. Timmins, match number 50 for the Jets for Callum Timmins. Alongside him, Lockie Bayliss. Now Grozos. Natta looks long towards Gibson. Nathan Taylor looking to take over all the way through to Parage Cullen. Robbie Stanton, who will be hoping for a physical and suitably aggressive performance from his side. He famously spoke about getting the boxing gloves at training a couple of months ago for his side. They have shown plenty more fight since then. And here's Taylor. Plenty of numbers forward. Wilmering on the left. Gibson and Adams through the middle. Taylor still going. The block by Kaltak. And Eli Adams has dived in there on Sainsbury as well. Well, that was an opening. Let's head down to Neve Owens, who's joining us on the sidelines. Nevo, how's the atmosphere down there?
Robbie, it is great, and what is a perfect arvo here on the coast. It was pretty humid when we arrived earlier on. That's dropped right back. It's 24 degrees, hardly any breeze at all, and a really great crowd in here at Central Coast Stadium, including on the eastern grandstand side. About 2,000 Polytech employees, family, friends. It's a coast company, and they're really showing their support. They're here in numbers tonight, which is brilliant to see, along with a whole heap of former Socceroos and Matildas as well, Robbie, including Graham Arnold, of course, manager here at the Mariners, won, a couple of premierships, a championship here as well. He's in the grandstand here tonight for Heritage Round.
That's right, he might just have his heart in his mouth as well, along with most of the crowd here after that little opportunity. Gibson closing down and getting a block in that almost ended up in the back of the net. Thank you, Neve. It is a good, healthy crowd in attendance in Gosford this evening.
Yeah, perfect night. Things didn't start that well for Newcastle. Easy win for the Mariners over the Jets in the W League. And then to really put a little bit more petrol on the fire, the Newcastle fans who've come in good numbers, as you said, Robbie, they often do, to look up at Bay 16 and see that homage to the recent success of the Mariners and the humiliation of a duckhead in 15 years really rubs it in. The team owes it to the travelling fans to do something here tonight.
Sainsbury picks up the first booking of this F3 derby for that late challenge on Taylor. There's Wilmering back with Natta. Continuing to to ask for more from Abdel Faisal. Here's Nathan Paul with the throw on that far side. 15 minutes in, we've had a couple of chances, a very big chance for the Jets after a mistake by the Mariners. Eli Adams manages to keep that in. He's got Gibson ahead of him. Comes inside onto his left, looking for Clayton Taylor. It was an incisive pass that needed to be perfectly negotiated by Taylor, not quite.
It had a bit on it from Eli Adams, but one thing that the Mariners will need to watch is the speed of the Newcastle attack. Adams can move, Gibson's handy, Taylor's got plenty of power, Aquilina can get up and down the field. It's one area where the Jets might eke out an advantage here.
Kankar's little nod down with Grozos. You can see both sides lining up very similarly in a 4-4-2 without the ball, and then a 3-4-3 with the ball. You can see Kankar, Grozos and Natta, the three at the back, when in possession. Wilmering drops back to make it a 4 at the back in the same way Storm Roux drops back in this instance for the Mariners. Here's Natta with Wilmering, first time ball for Taylor. Sainsbury, he's lost out again, he has to be careful. Sainsbury, Taylor, now Wilmering, the opportunity across the face from Wilmering. That was a huge opportunity, and the Jets have had the best chances so far.
Well, sitting on the yellow card, Trent Sainsbury needs to be careful, and it's good work from Clayton Taylor, and you've got to hit the target at least. Be very disappointed with that. Daniel Wilmering, whole goal to aim at. The not insignificant figure of Praich Cullen in between him, but still, you've got to make the big guy work at least. Wonderful opening carved out by the Jets.
Harrison Steele with Caltag. Eames, another good ball for Storm Roux. Gets the better of Wilmering, only just inside with Docker, dispossessed by Eli Adams. Bayless. Counter-attack wasn't on that time. Timmins back with Grozos. And they're finding Clayton Taylor regularly in between the lines at the moment. Sainsbury with Roux. Eames intercepted by Natta. Timmins, his header is poor. Lockie Bayliss and Harrison Steele with a little coming together. And the free kick again goes Newcastle's way. It's been a pretty positive start from the Jets so far. Up the line towards Aquilina. Got his first ever A-League goal earlier this season in the F3 derby. Gave the Jets the lead. Thomas Aquilina only for Caltac, and then an Alexander Shushnyar own goal to give the Mariners their first win of the season. Just as it was last year, their first win of the season. Followed last season was near perfection for the Mariners as they won the treble. It's been a little tougher going this term. Edmondson has done well against Natta. Good desperation from Mark Natta.
that is a good and necessary piece of acrobatics from Mark Natter. He'd be disappointed as the ball was rolling for the challenge in the first place that Edmondson was able to bump him off. The centre halves need to be like ogres in that situation. And credit where it's due, he recovered to clear the danger.
Now the press coming a little bit more organised this time from the Mariners. Timmins is forced into a hopeful ball forward now. Eames out-muscled. The break is on here. Adams can't find Taylor. Sainsbury with Eames again. Now Harrison Steele. Nathan Paul up the line. Look at all the space all of a sudden. Faisal couldn't find Mikhail Doka. The results earlier today have meant for some changes in the A-League ladder, particularly near the top. Sydney on the climb after their big win. Auckland are 5 points clear as well at the top after Sydney's win over Adelaide and Auckland's win over Macarthur. As here goes Gibson, breaking away against Sainsbury again. Gibson. And Sainsbury defends very well.
He did in the end, but they were stretched, and this is the advantage to which we earlier referred. They get the ball in some clean space. And Sainsbury on a yellow as well, that compounds things. And too experienced there, and Gibson's feet not sharp enough, but still a good opening carved out by Newcastle.
Getting through to that back line relatively comfortably at the moment. The Jets, Mariners midfield, just ironing out a few wrinkles, coming with this little tactical and change of personnel. Ball in towards the back post. The header from Nathan Paul. Nudge in the back, and the referee awards the free kick in Sainsbury's favour. Wrestling with Philip Kankar, a little push in the back from the Newcastle number 4. There is that league ladder I was mentioning, and there are these two sides for the moment. A win for the Mariners, and they would move level with Melbourne Victory just outside the 6. It's still a long way back for the Jets, and they're 11 points before this evening's clash. Currently 13 points outside the 6. They can take some heart from the situation. Of those 11 points, 9 of them have come on the road. All 3 wins this season have come away from home. Home not necessarily where the heart is at the moment for Newcastle.
Well, they're not the only team in the comp that has trouble winning at home, bizarrely.
Mariners have won just 1 at home out of 7 so far this season. They haven't even played here in 2025. Right. This is their first home game.
Home game of the new year. There you go.
In February.
I think it's a quicker discussion to identify which club has got good home form. Auckland.
And where might they be on the table?
Exactly.
Well, it is generally a strong home ground, synonymous with a strong team. It was certainly the Mariners in the last 3 seasons. And they're back-to-back championship triumphs in Montgomery and then Mark Jackson.
I mean, the away form or the home form is such a phenomenon this season. I wonder what the collective intelligence is around the clubs as to why teams can't win at home. I mean, even Adelaide, who are sitting second, have relied on that lofty position on a string of away wins.
Root for Theoharis, Bayliss, who spent some time in the academy at the Mariners, along with his brother, before heading to Newcastle. One of the few that's gone that way. Thomas Aquilina is another, playing his 100th career match this evening. Thomas Aquilina, 13 of them were played with the Central Coast Mariners for a swap deal with James McGarry. Saw him head north to Newcastle. Timmins sliding in, got a fair bit of ball.
He did a mighty job, really, to contort himself to win that. He would have thought fairly. Another day might have gotten away with it, actually. Understand why the ref gave it. No complaints there, nor from Timmins. But another day, another situation. That sort of endeavour would not go punished.
27 minutes gone. Mikhail Docker lining up the free kick. Hits it pretty well, too. And I think that might have been moving around. Ryan Scott certainly wasn't taking any chances.
Well, Docker has been a lifeline for the Mariners from dead balls, and geez, that looks close. It looks like it's going to sail over quite comfortably, and then mid-flight it just drops.
And some real pace about it. Scored a direct free kick, even if it was not intentionally so, against Western United on Wednesday night. One of those curling crosses that nobody can get a touch to. Nestles inside the far post. There's been 2 in his last 3 for him as well, Mikhail Docker. Before that, only 1 goal in the Champions League this season against Shandong. That's a little dummy to try and get the better of Grozos, and he almost did so. Jets fans making plenty of noise in their section. The drums are beating up the other end as here goes Wilmering. Again, plenty forward in the attack for the Jets. Gibson peeling off. Oh, they get a little lucky break. The opportunity. Side netting from Thomas Aquilina. And he had options in the middle.
Well, as this is unfolding, just look at the recovery of Brian Kaltak, as if he needs being reintroduced. It's a beautiful ball out from Costa Grossos. He lights the afterburners, does Wilmering. The pass takes a bit of a deflection from Gibson, and then it's through. And look at Kaltak from a standing start. 1, 2, 3. Closing the avenue and then making sure the shot has to go to the near post. Keeper Parage Cullen really appreciated that bit of help.
And that's a good punch from Parage Cullen. Wilmering again towards the back post. A header from Eames. And now Docker, a little bit of space. Faisal. He's got pace. He's got a bit of guile about him as well. Wilmering has too much strength on this occasion. Plenty of numbers back for the Jets as well in that transition. Getting numbers back behind the ball.
Well, the game is setting up really nicely, Robbie, and a huge part of that is the way the Jets have been measured in their possession. They've been very patient, largely very effective.
One over the top for Gibson. His first touch let him down. Sainsbury back with Paige Cullen.
And that was the money moment for Gibson. The Mariners, for their point, have pressed reasonably well, and they've forced the Jets to be a bit expansive out of midfield.
And they've got the better of Thea Harris here. Clayton Taylor squares it to nobody. Eli Adams was hoping there was a blue shirt looming up on his right. He's worked well to win it back, but illegally so, according to referee Jonathan Barrera.
And Newcastle just missing that little bit of quality, bit of experience maybe, in the attacking penalty area. Faisal sticking the left boot in to win possession and going down under the attention of Eli Adams.
Might have got a little finger in the eye there. They've asked for medical assistance. Abdel Faisal. There is Graham Arnold, the former Central Coast Mariners and Socceroos boss. Enjoying a bit of a pressure-free moment. And watching the son-in-law in action as well with the Mariners. Trent Sainsbury back in Australia after that odyssey of a decade long around the world. Caltac. That was a moment with Eli Adams as well. Here's what's coming up for the Central Coast Mariners. They've got a buy-in after the game against Perth, after that trip next Friday, then Western Sydney, Western United, victory in Auckland. So a big February and early March coming up for the Central Coast Mariners, one that will probably define their season and whether they are in any sort of position to defend their title for a third consecutive year. Jackson mentioned after the Western United game that they were looking at bringing in one more player, but didn't seem overly confident they were going to get it over the line.
Yeah, I would imagine inbound transfers in Gosford would be a huge surprise given what's going on behind the scenes with the club's ownership. I wouldn't have imagined there's much of a kitty to indulge that sort of thing at the moment.
Sainsbury with Caltac again, now Nathan Paul. Options for the Mariners, so the Jets with a press that became more and more intense as the Mariners waited. There's a strong challenge there from Wilmering on Thea Harris in that little passage as well, which caused the turnover. But here come the Mariners again. Donga with Faisal onto his right foot with Eames. Rue. And Rue again, now Thea Harris comes short. Stormeroo's ball in. Gozos, Jets captain, with a good header. Aquilina just runs into trouble. Caltac. Paul, Faisal can't keep it in play. As they look to just speed things up a little bit. A mistake putting the brakes back on. Six shots to 3 in favour of the away side so far, belying their 11th place in the league. Eli Adams, nice turn. Timmins with Aquilina. Rob Stanton calling for his players to try and play higher up. Natta. You can see Rob Stanton directing traffic at the bottom there, telling Wilmering where to pass. Happy to go back to try and switch the ball from one side to the other. Really managed to go a long way back now. Grozos finds Wilmering. Natter again. Wilmering. The cross is a good one. Nice little touch as well from Clayton Taylor, looking for Gibson. Faisal, that's brilliantly done. Jinking away from trouble. Now a foot race against Kankar. Oh, he's done well, Faisal. Now Docker takes over. Oh, and Docker just gives it straight to Clayton Taylor with a really lazy ball. Wilmering sends it into touch.
Well, that's a great recovery from Kankar in the first instance. I thought Faisal would be away at that point. Kankar runs him down, but gets outfoxed by the youngster. Maybe ran out of legs at the end of it. And then Docker couldn't oblige the opportunity with a decent pass.
Theoharis. Little ball over the top for Hayne Eames. Gets there ahead of Natta. Natta's turn to recover well enough, but concedes a corner.
Nice give and go, good forward run. Hayne Eames. Nicely found too, in fairness. Theoharis. Hayne Eames, to me, Robbie, gets more exciting the further forward he plays.
Theoharis taking on Adams. Theoharis straight past him, square ball and the first goal. And it's Nathan Paul, the central defender, with his second Mariners goal. The first came against Melbourne City earlier this season. But a goal in the derby will remain etched in his mind forever.
Well, slow to react to the corner with the Jets defensively on the Harvey Norman replay. And a lot of bodies in there, a lot of blue shirts in there, but still not enough to block the pass, the cutback. And it's Nathan Paul's had quite a week. Had quite a week for the Mariners. And right in the middle of maybe 8 Newcastle players who just watched the ball go into the back of their net. All the good work from the Jets undone. They've had better sights at goal, but it's the Mariners who take the lead.
Well, that injury to Trent Sainsbury on the eve of the season opened the door for Nathan Paul, as well as the departure of Dan Hall to Auckland. He sees the opportunity, especially with that hybrid 3 at the back. Andy Harper referring to quite a week with that outstanding assist for Ryan Edmondson against Western United.
Does he get any points for being a side screen for the Docker goal, the free kick?
As well. Almost got a touch on it. Here's Eames. Faisal. Kaltak with Sainsbury. Theoharis. Oh, good strength again from Christian Theoharis. Wants the free kick and gets it eventually.
Yeah, good advantage from referee Barrero. He's got tricky feet, Theoharis, when he gets them going, which thankfully for the gathered audience is more often than not.
Rob Stanton bemoaning what has been a common theme through matches this season. Chances not taken. And Docker with the free kick. This one not as threatening as the first.
You say not as threatening, depends on your view. If you're prawning in Brisbane water, you're in real trouble after this one. Fair to say, Docker has delivered a lot more impressive than that previously.
Well, it's a massive Saturday on Paramount Plus, and there's still one more game to come after this one. Perth Glory versus Melbourne Victory. 4 Isuzu UTE A-League football matches back to back to back to back today. And that's a big one to finish on out west as well. Theoharis. Timmins. Another familiar feeling for Rob Stanton and the Jets is to be trailing on the scoreboard as well. The first assist of the season from Christian Theoharis for that Nathan Paul goal. I've seen the Jets show plenty of character in recent weeks, plenty of spirit and fight. Gibson and Adams exchanging passes through the middle with Clayton Taylor. It's brilliantly played. Can't find the finish though. For what was a really lovely passage of play. Bayless now. It's not finished yet for the Jets. Again, the little flick from Eli Adams just can't come off. Wilmering now looks up. And again, it is those opportunities not taken that must haunt the sleep of the Newcastle Jets at the moment. They have the worst shooting accuracy of any side in the league. They have the second worst conversion rate. Only Perth need more shots to score goals than they do. Ball to the back post, there's nobody there. Basically, it takes 8 shots for the Jets to score a goal on average this season, and well, that was number 7.
Well, yeah, well, on that basis, the Mariners want to watch it because they're due. This is a really nice move, and at least on this occasion, it was a rather tame effort in the end, but at least it forced the keeper to deny Newcastle.
Harrison Steele, one way then the other, finds Kaltak. Faisal has kept it in. Despite the protests of Kankar. Steele back with Roux. Now for H. Cullen. 2 minutes of stoppage time have just begun. Eames, just 16 years of age. The third start in a row. It may come courtesy of the injuries to Brad Tapp, who did his ACL after just a couple of matches this season. Alfie McCalmont missing now for the last couple of weeks, but it means that Eames, who they have very big raps on, of course, has got his opportunity. He's already a goal scorer in the A-Leagues as well, the Mariners' youngest ever goal scorer. Kanka gets away from Faisal. Timmins. Wilmering. Ball holding up. Harris hooks it away. Natta. Wilmering. Wilmering wants the free kick. He gets the throw, but not for long. The referee's decided that even that will go against Daniel Wilmering. That will probably just about see us through. Mark Jackson will be the happier of the two coaches, at least in terms of the scoreboard, not necessarily in terms of the way this first half has played out. As there goes the half-time whistle, Mark Jackson will take his side into the break and into the lead, courtesy of Nathan Paul's second goal of the season. Christian Theoharis with the first assist. But the Jets had their chances. The Jets had the better chances, as well as more shots, but unfortunately their Achilles heel is a recurrent problem for them. They have failed to score again halfway through this 64th F3 derby. The Mariners leading the Jets by 1-0. Well, we're going to head off to a quick break, and we will be back with the halftime show with Tara, Macca and Archie in a moment's time. Stay with us.
only place to see every aliens, combat dealers, and someone who's going live. Stream every day, every goal, and every moment live on Paramount Plus.
Taz, Rob Stanton is feeling that frustration on the sideline. He's sitting just over beside me, Harps, and he's urging them to break forward. He wants them to break forward fast. They're doing that, but still that final product really letting them down.
Yeah, so, I mean, the Jets season is coming into sharp focus, or came into sharp focus in that 45 minutes. You know, that they've moved this season between competitive and very good, between the penalty areas with their football. They've played some really nice stuff, really good to watch, very incisive. But the tail of the tape for the Jets is that they are not good enough in either penalty box. They cough up cheap goals. They'll be filthy with the nature of the goal they conceded. And they'll sit back and think, well, and look at the video and say, guys, look how we're breaking them down. And we've had 4 or 5 really good sights at goal and we've come up empty. And that, at 45 minutes, sums up Newcastle's season. How do they break it? Well, Lockie is warming up at the moment. Lockie Rose is warming up at the moment. They've missed his energy, been injured for a long time. We've seen what he can bring to the team since his repatriation, and a lot more weight is about to fall on his shoulders, I think.
And it does feel like that bit of a broken record as well. Rob Stanton said after the game last week, if you don't take your chances, you invite them back into the game. And he is feeling exactly that same vibe at halftime here.
This year's Alex Tobin Medal is brought to you by Isuzu UTE. The winner of the prestigious award will win their choice of a brand new top-of-the-range Isuzu D-Max or 7-seat MUX. Plus, the Isuzu UTE Alex Tobin medalist will nominate a junior football club to win $10,000. Make sure you're watching this season's grand final when the winning player and club will be revealed.
You can make it with Ninja. Guys need to know with electric grills, fix and that's like a gas tank. Plus, you can also barbecue, smoke and air fry outdoors. Backyard ashes are better than complete gardens. It gives you crispy crust, high-heat roasting, and barbecue smoking. No matter how you're spending your time outdoors, Frisbee indoors, outdoors with Ninja. And Ghosties, give it one more time for our half-time heroes, players from Southern and Everon United Football Club.
I'm the one who can be 100 different investors all at once. With e-toll, I can be close, ability to investor. Or next, to join local stock specialists. I can be young, a passive daily hunter. Or I can be taken. It's taken. With e-toll, you can be inspired by investors right now. Then merge all strategies, all with wealth protected. Be the investor you want to be. E-toll.
Find the balance between excitement and adventure in the 7-seat Isuzu and UTE. Go your own way.
Courtney Perkins with the ball in. Here's Joe Lolly. Early goal for Sydney FC. Less than 90 seconds on the watch. Here goes Samsford. He's got the legs on sale. And Samsford has restored Western Sydney's lead.
Please make welcome back to the field for the second half. Your Central Coast Tigers!
Welcome back to Gosford, where the Central Coast Mariners are leading the Jets by 1-0. That's the lightsaber man who's just changing the batteries, getting ready for what he hopes will be a huge second half of action here as well. one change before we can get underway. Christian Theoharis' derby has come to an early conclusion, and it's Arthur De Lima, one of the young Mariners who's been getting a chance. He has come off the bench against Brisbane and scored on debut, and has started the next 4 matches before this evening. The matches have been coming thick and fast. It's been a big month for Arthur De Lima. And now he's on for the second half of the F3 derby. He will offer plenty of hard running in a central position, so it will mean a little reshuffle for the Central Coast Mariners, and it looks as though Docker has headed back to his more familiar right side. Ball forward for Ryan Edmondson, who's got an early touch. He got just 6 touches in the first half. Andy Harper, Ryan Edmondson. It was a bit of the problem for the Mariners, who are struggling to find their attackers in good position.
Well, to the eye, it was the Jets who had most of the ball in that first half, certainly in a constructive sense. And so that, by definition, is going to starve your most advanced player, in this case, Edmondson. The Mariners, most of their good work came off stealing possession from an effective press. But they have found it difficult a lot of the year to link the front part of the field. But you've got to pay enormous tribute to the spirit of the players. As difficult as things have been, they're staying alive in the competition.
The Mariners on the front foot. De Lima just too short to get on that cross from Storm Roux. Faisal with Paul. De Lima again. Gets it straight back from Mikael Docker, who has taken De Lima under his wing. We saw when he got that first goal, the celebrations, how much it meant to Mikael Docker as well. I've also seen Arthur De Lima work as his interpreter and translator post-match as well for Mikael Docker. So a good working relationship there for the young Portuguese-speaking Arthur De Lima. Grozos back to Scott. Edmondson charging down. Haynes almost got there. Harrison Steele does. Here's Faisal looking for the little touch with De Lima. Comes back out now, able to face forward. Nathan Paul. A more confident start to the second half from the Central Coast Mariners. Sainsbury's pass is a good one for Storm Roux. Docker back, and for the moment, Mariners camped in Jets territory. Nathan Paul. De Lima picks up from Faisal. There's another good opportunity now. Docker down to the byline, firing from an acute angle and into the side netting.
Well, that bit of side netting's had a bit of a workout this evening. The Jets gave it a tickle up once or twice in the first half, and now Mikael Docker, he had 2 options: one, shoot with power, or cut it back. And he's decided to go himself, not unreasonably so.
First foray into the Mariners' half of the field for the Jets doesn't last long.
It was a good opening burst of pressure, repeated pressure from the Mariners to start the second half.
Again, we saw the Jets conceding a really soft goal from a set piece. Foul and Sainsbury. Play continuing. That's a nice touch from Mikael Docker for Hayneems. Good ball wide for Faisal. Running at Kankar. Oh, it's missed by Ryan Scott, surely. Goal. It's a second for the Mariners. The mistake from Ryan Scott. And Abdel Faisal is the player getting all the congratulations. Having just arrived from Perth and already making an impact with the Mariners.
Well, this is almost a reprise from midweek. Certainly the lead-up, Harvey Norman replay. The ball from Hayneems centre midfield out to the left was like a Tarnate during the week to Nathan Paul, who hit the cross in. This time it's a bit more congested in the penalty area. Faisal has to work a bit of magic. He's got great acceleration over the first yard or two. But in the end, the discussion on the goal unfortunately falls at the feet or the faulty hands of Ryan Scott. It's a really bad goal to concede. The lead-up was excellent, worthy of a good chance on goal from the Mariners. But in the end, it's completely gifted.
Well, it just makes it over the goal line. The goal stands. And again, it's the Jets who are sabotaging their own ambition here. Not for the first time this season. They've conceded another soft goal from a set piece, and then there, the error from Ryan Scott. Now it's Harrison Steele who's down, just getting the knock from Eli Adams. Now, let's have a look. Up over the hands. Now there. Landing on the line. Clearly over, I think, in the end, but close enough to get the magnifying glass out. Well, Mark Natta has, for the moment, been accredited with that goal for just helping it over the line in his desperation to try and clear it out, I imagine. Now, the Jets looking for a way back into the game, and they might have one here. Gibson and Taylor, saved by Parage Cullen. Aquilina with the follow-up, blocked by Hayneems. De Lima, anywhere will do, gets it clear.
Well, add to the catalogue. 2-0 down, the Jets. And two subs looking to breathe life into the match. Cut inside, did Gibson, and then almost getting in each other's way. Still forcing good work out of Parage Cullen in the Mariners' goal. Nonetheless, it should at least be 2-1.
So changes coming. Philip Kankar and Ben Gibson making way as Lockie Rose and Kota Mizunuma come on. A second appearance for the Jets, for their new Japanese midfielder. An excellent wide player. Fantastic set-piece delivery as well, that we saw already in his first cameo last week in the 2-2 draw with Perth. Wearing number 18 shirt on this near side. Aquilina forcing Grozos to turn and chase. Natta. Nice little square ball for Wilmering, for Clayton Taylor. He's got Lockie Rose ahead of him. And he was looking for the return pass in the end to Wilmering. Referee allows the advantage. Another one for De Lima to chase, but it's overhit. exit of Kankar means that Aquilina is back to right back, as his right midfield position is taken by Kota. Nathan Paul with a distinctive height advantage in that aerial challenge. (2-0). The Central Coast Mariners leading the Newcastle Jets. Eli Adams. Clayton Taylor for Lockie Rose. Shooting on the turn, denied by Sainsbury.
He'll be a good injection. Lockie Rose. Clayton Taylor's had plenty of ball, and look at ball laying free on the left. So there's a couple of options there. Sainsbury covering nicely.
Great pace on that, great delivery. Well, there you see it. The technique with the set piece. Clayton Taylor. Cross deflected, and it will be Kota heading across to take this one as well. Spent most of his career at Yokohama F. Marinos, where he came through the ranks, started his career there before heading away, and then spending the last 3 seasons there. Ball to the back post. That will be another Jets opportunity.
Good glancing header away from the danger. Had some menace about it. That ball from Kota.
2 senior caps for Samurai Blue as well. That underlines that quality. Here it is again, the third in quick succession for the 34-year-old. Sainsbury doing the defending on Eli Adams. In it comes from Kota. It's another good ball. Excellent header from Brian Kaltak. Well, the Jets need to find a goal. Only Perth have now scored fewer and the Jets. Here's Timmins. Looks back towards Wilmering. Sainsbury had read the situation well enough, but Clayton Taylor's won another corner.
Well, they've set themselves well, Newcastle. It's got to get the goal to break the ice for themselves, but since going down to, they've had all the territory and all the possession. Now they need to make this breakthrough. Lightsaber man believes.
See down there, and it comes. It's a good ball towards Natta. Now back in from Aquilina. Natta and Lockie Rose! And the Jets are back in the game. A real goal-mouth scramble. But the Jets showing plenty of character, and Lockie Rose striking again, his 3rd goal of the season in just his 6th appearance.
Well, in the Harvey Norman replay, it's the Mariners this time who struggled to get the ball away. Unconvincing from Kaltak, you don't often say that. And as the ball falls to Lockie Rose, the substitute, he gets his big rotary hoe on the end of it and stabs it for the goal that gives Newcastle some belief. And interestingly, as the Jets make their way back for the restart, it's Rose and Kota who are doing the ranting and the raving. to the teammates, trying to rouse them to a greater effort and get something out of this derby.
Now, the referees are just having VAR look through to make sure there was nothing untoward in terms of illicit positioning, offside, before the ball fell to Lockie Rose. We are all good. Goal confirmed. And with half an hour left to play, the F3 derby is back on, as well as 3 precious championship points on offer. There is, of course, the F3 derby trophy, which is up for grabs again. It is the proud possession of the Mariners at the moment. A draw or a win, and they will retain the trophy for another season. Cullen. Now, we have seen Newcastle find themselves in these sort of positions recently and then be unable to just take that next step and find that equaliser or find that winner. Faisal against Aquilino, who's got De Lima ahead of him. Faisal, 3 in the middle to aim for, the cross in, Natta, good header away, Haynes drives it back in. Good stop from Scott, it had to be. The youngster looking to make a little bit of derby history himself.
Well, it falls to just the wrong person if you're a Newcastle fan, because Haynes has got as clean a strike as there is in the league.
Little 1-2, Docker and Edmondson. Now Storm Roux pops it up to the back post. Faisal was arriving, Aquilino was there. Good little nudge from Arthur De Lima. Free kick goes Cotter's way. Home crowd don't like it. Just a little nudge. Now Lockie Rose manages to get onto it, find his fellow second half substitute. Drops the ball in to Clayton Taylor. Lockie Bayliss turning onto the right foot. Bayliss with Cotter, nice touch, Cotter gets it back. Brilliant defending, Kaltak. Well, that was decisive.
Lovely work. The 2 substitutes have brought the ingredient. Adams joining in there too. And Kaltak, more trademark-like defending there for the Vanuatu superstar than for the goal that the Mariners conceded. But they're back in it. Up to their eyeballs, the Jets.
Edmondson wrestling, comes away with the ball only momentarily. Well, they've just upped the ante a little bit, the Jets. They're flying into the challengers. It's getting a little bit spicy. They need to. Rob Stanton's comments about boxing gloves weren't just innocent remarks either. The side have the lowest success rate in duels of any team in the competition as well. They do need to show more fight, more strength, more power. Caltac, coolly done with Sainsbury. There's the foul count. Harrison Steele releasing Faisal. It's a great ball and a good run. Faisal! Oh! Now, did that hit the post? I think it went straight across the face of goal. We'll see from this angle.
It might have glanced the post. It has glanced the post. Exciting play. Wonderful release ball from Harrison Steele.
Well, he's been denied that first Mariners goal so far. Abdel Faisal. We'll see if it gets given back to him. I can imagine there's some sort of appeal process. Aquilino. De Lima has also brought plenty of energy as that's a ball to the near post. Lockie Rose throwing himself at it. And again, Andy, it's the two subs.
And haven't they developed wonderful synchronicity? Here's the goal. Well, Lockie Rose. Well, they had nothing to do with that, really, apart from launching a series of corners and set piece to keep the Mariners under pressure. Set pieces to keep the Mariners under pressure. But he and Lockie Rose have developed a line of communication very, very quickly. That was really close, that last ball in.
Charles Mombwa, the Tanzania international, comes on to replace Eli Adams. His career began here. Charles Mombwa on the Central Coast, or his A-League career at least. He played just the once for the Mariners, came on for the last 30 minutes of an 8-2 defeat against Wellington Phoenix. Cotta, ball back post, Rose, Mombwa arriving. I'm sure he would like to return Charles Mombwa for a happier occasion. Well, midway through the second half, the stage is set.
Faisal just reacting quickly enough to get his body in the way there and draw the foul.
It will be his final contribution as he is replaced by Vitor Feijão. Aluqual is coming on to replace Edmondson. He's toiled hard. Ryan Edmondson again, an excellent starting debut for Abdel Faisal. Well, as far as the Mariners are concerned, scored that second goal. Feijão now. Little touch for De Lima. Ball back with Harrison Steele. Caltac, Feijão. Mariners will be hoping their substitutes can have a similar impact to those that came on with the Jets. Caltac under a little bit of pressure from Mombwa. They've managed to get it out via Harrison Steele to Feijão. He straightens up. Feijão chipping back post towards Storm Roux. It's a teasing ball. Pretty well defended in the end by Wilmering.
Yeah, he kept his nerve. And he was aware of the presence of Storm Roux and knew. He just had a quick look over his left shoulder there. It's very good defending. To be aware of the danger. And just needed to play at that out for the corner. Now, Newcastle, not their strongest suit, defending set pieces in clutch moments, but they've got to muscle up now.
Mariners have an excellent record of scoring from set pieces as well. They've scored before tonight nearly half their goals. 8 of 17 before this evening. Sainsbury. Monbois with Rose. Foul by Caltac. And a booking. Yellow card for Brian Caltac for that foul on Lockie Rose.
We don't quite get the full view on that replay. This is a better shot. Well, Caltac basically standing his ground. Now, I'm not complaining at that being a free kick, but I reckon he's a bit stiff getting a yellow for that.
First yellow card of the season for Brian Caltac.
And a dubious one at that. You remember we were here a few weeks ago, Robbie? Trent Sainsbury was just making his return to the team, and Sainsbury's in the centre of defence, and Brian Caltac moved to the right stopper position, and he was all at sea. And Jackson changed that promptly. He's put the boss back in the centre, which means they've got two functional bosses now.
Referee having a long look and deciding yellow card Mikael Docker for diving.
Well, it's not so much diving as taking evasive action. Again, I'm going into the defence of the player there. No contact from Wilmering, no problem, but the bloke's entitled to try and miss the challenge. At any rate,
I guess it's if the referee felt his intention was to try and win the free kick, which must be what Jonathan Barrera was feeling, not only that it was taking evasive action, perhaps.
Yep. No, that's probably you're probably right again, Robbie. Rub it in, why don't you?
2 yellow cards in a matter of minutes. And will they come back to be a more important factor in the final moments of this one? Paul finds Qual, who can't find Storm Roux. Now Clayton Taylor. Harrison Steele does well.
He's been terrific tonight, Harrison Steele. Back to his very, very best. Newcastle just letting it slip a little bit. They worked really hard, established a very compelling foundation, got themselves back to 2-1, and it's a bit like the job's done. But near enough's not good enough. And they've allowed the Mariners, and in defence of the Jets, the home team has also stirred themselves. But there's one team chasing, and there's one team surely more desperate for the points in the context of the season, and that's the team that's chasing. And they've got to keep chasing hard until they crack this. They can't afford to drop off.
Little ball in behind. Well, no two matches are ever the same, but a couple of weeks ago I was commentating the Jets against Western United, and Lockie Rose was on the score sheet there, and they did have a period in the second half where it looked as though they were mounting a challenge where they might be back into the contest. And that, what you're talking about, that extra little bit of desperation never materialised.
Yeah, and there are signs that it's happening again. You look at the middle of the park.
As here come the Mariners with Docker. The cutback is a good one. Feijão is there, struck it well, and Ryan Scott palmed it away.
And with the game maybe in the balance, it's not 100% accurate to say that because the Mariners have got their nose in front, but Harrison Steele is growing in stature, just driving the Mariners through the middle of the park. Newcastle haven't got anything to answer there at the moment. And Bayliss and Timmins have got to roll their sleeves up. They've got to get the guns out.
travelling Newcastle fans had briefly found their voice, but you can hear now it's the Mariners. De Lima. He's been a good introduction, Arthur De Lima.
Yeah, he's thrown himself around. He's a big physical presence.
Well, here is how it stands at the moment. The Mariners climbing up to 8th. Just 2 points behind Melbourne City in the 6th. You do get the feeling there's a lot more to play out this season. It might be curtains for Newcastle in terms of having realistic finals aspirations, but certainly for the top 9 or 10, there is still every reason to believe that finals football, and hence the championship, however unlikely, could still happen. 4th change for Mark Jackson's Mariners. Sasha Kuzevsky comes on to replace Storm Roux. There's only 1 goal in it at the moment. All it will take is 1 moment. A little mistake, a moment of magic. And with the number of late goals we've had this season as well, the fact that a game is really never over until that final whistle. Clayton Taylor able to turn. Mombwa charging through the middle. Clayton Taylor still, it might yet fall. Harrison Steele gets it away. Bayless putting the pressure on. Throw goes Jets' way. And that will bring their fans back to life again. The lightsabers are back on. Jets with the ball. Possession very much 50-50 in this one. Sainsbury's clearance was excellent towards Feijal, but Kota is fighting for everything. Aquilina. And he didn't have the angle that he wanted. He played it anyway. Mombwa has done well against Brian Kaltak. He's won the throw in the end. Released from MacArthur at the end of last season. 8 months. Nearly 8, 7 as a free agent. Charles Mombwa for getting the opportunity at the Newcastle Jets. See those statistics. 4 shots on target each, 12 shots each. Callum Timmins' 50th appearance for the Jets comes to a close 79 minutes in, and it's Will Dobson, another 16-year-old, who gets his opportunity in an F3 derby. Moved into a fairly advanced position there as well. Mombwa has dropped back into that Timmins role, sitting a little deeper. Feijal dispossessed by Kota. Bayless turns with Dobson. A first touch is assured. Mombwa with Grozos. Nata. Moving the ball around, probing. patiently waiting. Clayton Taylor's been good this evening. His cross is good as well to Lockie Rose, safe. It's still there bouncing around. And Perage Cullen claims it under pressure from Will Dobson.
Great work from Clayton Taylor. Lockie Rose gets a shoulder on it, I think, and then he's just too tall for Perage Cullen as Dobson looks to profit from the second rebound.
Kozewski with fresh legs. It's well played. Finds Feijão. Too easily dispossessed. Feijão by Aquilina. And his pass. Only finding Brian Kaltak. The sentinel at the back, Brian Kaltak. Wilmering's cross. Cleared by only as far as Bayliss' shot. It was Nathan Paul who turned it straight back to Lockie Bayliss.
Well, it's a decent effort on goal. That's good awareness from Perage Cullen. You can imagine young keeper, I mean, he's played very well this season. He's notching up some great experience, but still, forgive him for being a little bit nervous given the state of the game. Lovely turn from De Lima.
A little jink past Mombwa as well. Can he go on with it? Mombwa chasing back. Made it to the corner flag. May not have been his initial destination. Intended anyway, but he's done well enough. Into the last 8.5 minutes now. The Mariners. The beat of the drum. And they hope 3 more points. Their first 3-point haul at home since that win over Sydney FC. And that Alu Kuol double. It's a while ago now. Back on the 8th of December.
The referee is entitled to step in and expect the Mariners to execute these restarts a little quicker. He is making that point sort of clear, referee Barrera.
Docker's ball, back post. I think that's come off Wilmering. It's another corner on the other side now. These are precious seconds for the Jets because the terrible start to the season for the Jets. Just 1 win in their first 6 matches. They've had just 2 in their last 7. That's actually the same number as the Central Coast Mariners. Ball back post, overhit. It's actually gone out of play for a goal kick. So the Jets will have the opportunity to get the ball back and try and build something here. But more than the season, more than the points on the ladder or the positions, we know what derby matches represent. We saw the sign, Andy Harper, that you made reference to in Bay 16 of the Mariners. 5 trophies in 3 years, none in 15 for Newcastle. For these 2 sides, this match means just a little bit more than the others. Kota up the line for Dobson, was being held by Nathan Paul. No, says the referee. Aquilina. Feijão staying down Holding his elbow, quickly back to his feet in the end, still feeling that right arm. Appeals for a handball against Bayless, nothing given. Lockie Rose's touch. Apologises to Clayton Taylor. And you can hear the noise from the crowd. The two benches are starting to get a little bit chatty as well to each other. Oh, as it falls to Aluqual. Docker charging forward. Mikael Docker off the post. Well, he almost struck again there, Mikael Docker. It could have finished this one as a contest. And now it's the Jets looking to make them pay. Dobson gets another chance. Square ball. Mombwa on his right foot. Over everything and into the giant screen behind the goal.
Great chance for Mombwa. Better chance for Docker. Aluqual puts it on beautifully. Good balance from Docker. Scott's beaten, can't navigate the post. That's curtains for the Jets right there. But they sprung upfield and Mombwa gets a side on goal. It blazes away. There's still plenty to play in this one, you'd reckon.
The Mariners have hit the woodwork twice now. Through Abdel Faisal. And now Mikael Docker. There is the Paramount Plus player index with just a couple of minutes left to play. The Mariners are playing with fire. The crowd not happy either.
Well, especially when Kota is lining up for the Jets. His corners have been excellent.
They are yet to score a headed goal this season. Now they have a man that can deliver the ball on a sixpence. In it comes Nata, and they have done. 3 minutes left on the clock. And Mark Nata has headed home one of Kota Mizunuma's superb set pieces. And the Jets are all level, 2-2.
Well, Harvey Norman replay makes great viewing for Newcastle fans. And Mark Nata, who's had his share of defensive mishaps this season, has drawn the Jets level. It's a beautiful delivery from Kota. And the Mariners might be 3-1 up, but for the goal post. And the subsequent and quick counter-attack from Newcastle yielded the corner. Kota delivers the corner. And Nata delivers the header.
His only other A-League goal came in a spectacular 5-3 loss to Melbourne Victory on a night where Bruno Fornaroli stole the show. Perhaps Mark Nata has stolen the show himself here. It is a goal as much about pride for those travelling supporters, and it's also one that really dents the Central Coast Mariners, the reigning champions, hopes of finals football as well.
Well, it was a goalpost away from being settled. And now, who knows what could happen? There's still 3 to play for. Well, the extra 2 points.
And we're going to have, I'm reliably informed, 6 minutes of stoppage time. So, anything can happen. And given that this is the A-Leagues, it probably will. Kota. In short with Dobson. A little bit telegraphed from the youngster, but it falls again. Taylor. Overhits it beyond everyone. You can see that the Jets believe now, though. There's a real fire in the belly. Lockie Rose remonstrating with his teammates. Aquilina forward towards Taylor. Kozewski's header is a good one for Hayne Eames. Lockie Rose leading by example, just unable to keep it in play. Daniel Wilmering on that far side.
Well, how desperate are the Mariners now to win at home and push themselves right into the competition reckoning. That look at the table before made for nice viewing if you're a Mariners fan, and it slipped away, and they've got 5 minutes to fix it.
Last season, the Central Coast Mariners only failed to win 11 games to go with 19 victories in the 30 that went all the way to the grand final. And they've got just 4 wins so far this season, and if this ends in a draw, that will be 8 draws and 4 losses, and already after 16 games of the campaign, 12 without a win. Of course, we're not done here. De Lima dispossessed by Aquilina. Cotta taking over. Nathan Paul reads the situation well. Almost ran himself into a spot of bother. Kozewski. Great run, Kozewski. Great determination. The cross towards Kwong. And now is it the Jets looking to provide an unlikely upset? Or will the Mariners, looking for that 7th consecutive F3 Derby victory, dig a little deeper? Hayne Eames goes again. Eames still. Oh, he's done brilliantly. The cross just beyond Feijao. Nathan Paul now. Deflected. Onto the roof of the net.
Brilliant. Brilliant action here in Gosford. The Jets just hanging on. Nathan Paul at the end of this. A huge deflection. And Ryan Scott, oh no, he says. But to safety it goes.
The Mariners fans cheering their team on. Clayton Taylor's header. Alu Kwong. Alu Kwong. Brilliant defence. It's another corner.
Wonderful tackle. Clayton Taylor throwing him. So now it's Bayliss. My apologies. But the Bulldogs got hold of the hamstring. This was about to set up. Might have been interesting on replay if that's a foul on Mombwa, but there's no doubt about the quality of the tackle from Bayliss. 100% desperation.
In it comes, the header from Nathan Paul. Off target.
Geez, he had some good space there, Nathan Paul. It's been a big week for him. And that would have sealed it. Not just the game, but the week of heroics for Nathan Paul. He couldn't manage it. Jets survive, and it's they who'll come now to try and find a winner.
No foul. Who wants it? Both sides, by the looks of things. Neither side trying to play for a draw. 2 minutes left. It's a minimum 6. The referee can always decide to add on a little bit extra if he feels it's warranted. Aquilina dispossesses Feijao. Aquilina still going. Finds Lockie Rose. Lockie Rose around Sainsbury. Deflected by Kaltak. Corner to come.
That's a brilliant run from Aquilina. This is exactly what Newcastle has missed too often. Amidst their good play through midfield, it's that real drive to turn the game, and Aquilina getting the ball to Lockie Rose, who's shot, and all the Mariners fans grabbing for the rosary, ducking behind the couch.
It has it all. Mizunuma delivers. He'll get another chance. Well, Mizunuma...
It was offside.
He's saying, I didn't touch it. I didn't play any part in the ball.
Well, I mean, he's tried to do the right thing, and the free... Anyway, where's the offside being taken from? That's the other question.
It should be right by the sideline, shouldn't it?
Of course it should. Loose with the rules.
Now Taylor. Clayton Taylor. 30 seconds left. Well played, Kuszewski. Kuszewski on the charge now. Is this the moment for the Mariners? De Lima. Last chance. Arthur De Lima still. Kuszewski takes over. Dispossessed. Lockie Bayliss can barely move after that last injury. Docker's won it back. Kuszewski fouled. He's injured, Lockie Bayliss. He goes down. He's been trying to play on. Last chance. This will be it. The Central Coast Mariners with one final set piece.
Well, it's been an incredibly furious finish to this game. Time for one twist.
Docker delivers. And the Jets' defence holds firm. And it's all over. A frantic finale brings us an equaliser, but no winner in the 64th F3 derby. The Mariners' run of victories comes to a halt courtesy of Lockie Rose's equalising goal. And despite both teams throwing everything into the final vestiges of battle, there was to be no triumphant winner. Mark Natta with a first headed goal of the season for the Newcastle Jets in the 87th minute, along with Rose's goal off the bench, cancelling out Nathan Paul and Abdel Faisal or Mark Natta's own goal 5 minutes into the second half. It was an absorbing match of football in Gosford this evening, and one that finishes Central Coast Mariners 2, Newcastle Jets 2.
Against the Glory, that one on Friday the 7th of February in Newcastle.